If you're constantly exhausted, overwhelmed, or feeling like your paycheck just isn't enough, you're not alone. Many workers across Australia are struggling with long hours, unrealistic expectations, and wages that don't keep up with the cost of living. In this video, we'll break down 10 key reasons Australian workers are burnt out and underpaid, and some of these might really surprise you. From rising workloads and unpaid overtime to job insecurity and stagnating wages, we'll explore what's causing this crisis and what can be done about it. Whether you're experiencing burnout yourself or just want to stay informed, this is a conversation we all need to have. Let's get into it, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. 1. Stagnant wages in a rising economy. Over the past decade, Australian wages have barely budged, while the cost of living has soared. Rent, groceries, fuel, utilities, everything is getting more expensive, yet salaries remain stagnant. This financial strain is leaving many workers struggling to keep up, despite putting in long hours and working harder than ever. While Australia does have one of the highest minimum wages in the world, real wages haven't kept pace with inflation. Even those who receive small pay increases often find that the extra income is quickly eaten up by rising expenses. In many industries, wage growth has been sluggish, while corporate profits continue to climb. This growing gap between wages and the cost of living is making it harder for Australians to save, invest, or even cover their daily essentials. For younger workers, this issue is even more concerning as they face student loan debts, skyrocketing housing prices, and fewer opportunities for career advancement. Many employees are being asked to do more for the same pay, contributing to widespread burnout. Without significant wage growth, Australian workers will continue to feel financially squeezed, working tirelessly while falling further behind. It's a frustrating reality that demands urgent attention from both businesses and policymakers. 2. Unpaid overtime culture. Australian workers are putting in more unpaid overtime than ever before, and it's taking a serious toll. A report from the Australia Institute reveals that full-time employees are working an extra 6 weeks per year in unpaid hours, which is more than a month of work completely unpaid. This culture of overwork has become so normalized that many employees don't even question it. Whether it's staying late to finish tasks, responding to emails after hours, or working through lunch breaks, unpaid overtime is creeping into daily life. Many workers feel pressured to go beyond their contracted hours, fearing that if they don't, they'll fall behind or be seen as less dedicated. For salaried employees, the expectation to be always available is even worse, with some industries making overtime feel like an unspoken requirement. This constant overworking leads to burnout, stress, and poor work-life balance, with employees sacrificing personal time for the sake of their jobs. Without proper enforcement of labor laws and cultural shifts in workplace expectations, this trend will only continue. Workers deserve fair compensation for their time, and businesses need to recognize that productivity shouldn't come at the cost of employee well-being. 3. Increased workloads, with no pay rise. One of the biggest contributors to burnout is the growing expectation for employees to do more with less. Companies are cutting costs through mass layoffs, hiring freezes, and understaffing, leaving fewer workers to handle the same or even greater workloads. If you've ever been asked to take on extra responsibilities that weren't in your job description without seeing a cent more in your paycheck, you're not alone. Many employees find themselves juggling multiple roles, stretching their capacity to the limit while their employers reap the financial benefits. The worst part? This extra work often goes unrecognized, with promotions and pay raises becoming increasingly rare. This trend is especially common in industries like healthcare, education, retail, and corporate sectors, where staff reductions mean those who remain are left scrambling to fill the gaps. The result? Higher stress, longer hours, and increased job dissatisfaction. While businesses justify these decisions as necessary cost-cutting measures, the long-term impact is clear. Burnt-out workers, declining morale, and higher turnover rates. Employees deserve fair pay for the work they do. If companies expect more from their staff, they should be willing to compensate accordingly. 4. Casual work and insecure jobs. Australia has one of the highest rates of casual employment in the developed world, leaving millions of workers without annual leave, sick leave, or job security. While casual wages might look higher on paper, The lack of stability and benefits means workers often lose out in the long run. Many casual workers struggle to plan for the future because their hours can change at any time. Without guaranteed shifts, it's difficult to budget, save, or secure loans for big life expenses like housing. Employers, meanwhile, benefit from this system as they can reduce costs by keeping workers on insecure contracts rather than offering permanent positions with proper entitlements. The gig economy is making things even worse, with more people stuck in part-time, freelance, or contract roles that don't guarantee consistent income or career growth. While gig work offers flexibility, it often comes at the cost of financial security and workplace protections. As insecure work becomes more common, employees are left in a cycle of uncertainty, stress, and burnout, constantly searching for their next paycheck. Without stronger worker protections, casualization will continue to undermine fair wages and job stability for Australian workers. 5. Cost of living crisis. Everything in Australia is expensive, and it's only getting worse, as Sydney and Melbourne consistently rank among the most expensive cities in the world, with other capital cities not far behind. From rent and mortgages to groceries, fuel, and utilities, the rising cost of essentials is putting massive financial pressure on workers. Housing affordability is at a crisis point, with home ownership slipping out of reach for many Australians. Renters aren't faring much better, as skyrocketing rental prices force more people to live paycheck to paycheck. Even middle-income earners, who were once considered financially secure, are now struggling to keep up with expenses. This financial stress feeds directly into workplace burnout, and when workers feel trapped in jobs they don't enjoy simply to survive, anxiety and exhaustion build. Instead of working to get ahead, many are just working to stay afloat. Without real wage growth or cost of living relief, Australians will continue to feel the crushing weight of financial insecurity. 6. Corporate greed and profit prioritization. Let's be real. Big corporations are making record profits, yet the workers driving their success see little to no financial benefit. Across industries like retail, mining, banking, and healthcare, companies are pulling in billions of dollars in revenue. Yet, instead of increasing wages, businesses prioritize executive bonuses, shareholder dividends, and cost-cutting measures that leave employees worse off. While CEOs take home multi-million-dollar paychecks, the average worker is expected to do more for the same or even less pay. The gap between corporate earnings and worker compensation is wider than ever, fueling resentment and low morale. Employees are overworked, underpaid, and undervalued, while companies justify stagnant wages by claiming financial constraints, despite their rising profits. This relentless focus on profit maximization at the expense of workers contributes to burnout, job dissatisfaction, and high turnover rates. If companies truly value their employees, they should invest in fair wages, better conditions, and job security, because a thriving workforce benefits everyone, not just those at the top. 7. Toxic work culture. Australia is known for its laid-back lifestyle, but for many workers, the reality is far from relaxed. Toxic work environments are becoming more common, with high expectations, lack of support, and poor management creating unnecessary stress. Many employees feel undervalued, disrespected, or stuck in workplaces where their well-being takes a backseat to productivity. Micromanagement, unrealistic deadlines, and a culture of overwork leave workers feeling exhausted and unappreciated. In some industries, employees fear speaking up about workplace issues due to job insecurity or retaliation, making it even harder to address these problems. Without proper work-life balance, mental health support, or respect for employees' time, burnout is inevitable. Workers are expected to give their all, yet rarely receive the recognition or compensation they deserve. A truly healthy workplace values its employees' well-being just as much as its bottom line. Until companies prioritize better leadership, fair expectations, and a positive work environment, toxic cultures will continue to drive burnout across Australian workplaces. 8. Underpayment and wage theft. Wage theft is a major issue in Australia, particularly in hospitality, retail, and construction industries, where workers are often underpaid or denied their legal entitlements. Despite strict workplace laws, many businesses still exploit employees, knowing the penalties for getting caught are often minor compared to the profits they make by underpaying staff. Some companies deliberately misclassify workers, fail to provide proper penalty rates, or make employees work unpaid overtime. Others pay workers in cash with no payslip or record, making it easier to dodge legal responsibilities. Even high-profile businesses have been exposed for wage theft, showing how widespread the issue is. If you've ever been told to work for experience, paid below award wages, or denied proper breaks, you've likely been a victim of wage theft. Many employees fear speaking up due to job insecurity, but it's important to know your rights. Until tougher penalties and stricter enforcement are in place, businesses will continue prioritizing profits over fair pay, leaving hardworking Australians struggling to make ends meet. 9. Lack of union power. In recent decades, union membership in Australia has declined significantly, leading to a loss of bargaining power for workers. Unions once played a crucial role in securing fair wages, better working conditions, and job security. However, with fewer people involved, unions now struggle to negotiate meaningful pay rises or enforce improvements in workplace standards. As union influence has weakened, workers have been left to fight for better conditions on their own, often facing resistance from employers who prioritize profits over employee well-being. Many employees feel disconnected from unions, unaware of the power they once held in advocating for fair treatment. Stronger union support could be a solution to many of the issues workers face today, whether it's securing higher wages, better workplace protections, or addressing unpaid overtime. By rebuilding union participation and solidarity, workers can regain their collective strength and ensure their rights are protected. It's crucial that we recognize the value of unions in addressing workplace inequality and improving conditions for all employees. 10. Poor work-life balance. The work-life balance in Australia has been steadily deteriorating, largely due to the rise of technology. With smartphones, emails, and messaging apps, the lines between work and personal time have become increasingly blurred. Emails after hours, weekend calls, and the expectation to always be on mean employees can never fully switch off or disconnect from work. Many companies claim to prioritize mental health and work-life balance, but in practice, they continue to expect workers to put their jobs first. The constant pressure to be available 24/7, even outside of regular working hours, leads to increased stress, burnout, and fatigue. As employees struggle to balance their personal lives with demanding workloads, it becomes harder to recharge or maintain healthy relationships. This unhealthy cycle not only affects productivity, but also worsens overall mental and physical health. Until workplaces genuinely embrace work-life balance as a priority, many workers will continue to feel the weight of never-ending pressure and responsibilities. So there you have it, 10 reasons Australian workers are burnt out and underpaid. If you've experienced any of these issues, you're not alone. And as the workforce is changing without proper protections and fair compensation, Australian workers will continue to struggle. Now, we want to hear from you. Have you been underpaid? Are you feeling burnt out? Drop your experiences in the comments below, and let's start a conversation. If you found this video valuable, give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.